avoid all those headaches before they happen. Pride Tree Service, 840-0750. That's 840-0750.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
All right, 24 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Have you ever known anybody who is completely cool, is kind of always like in control of their own world? And if you were to imagine yourself being either ultra smart and being able to spout all kinds of facts and do calculations, at the snap of a finger, or simply be like, I don't know Bill Murray personally, and so forgive me if this is a bad comparison, but the character that Bill Murray seems to always portray is this very cool. He's any circumstance, he's not going to be flustered at all. I don't know if that's what emotional intelligence is. We're going to find out in just a second what emotional intelligence is. Karen D. Nutter is on the phone. She's a corporate and a lifestyle coach. She's a certified master coach practitioner, a certified hypno-linguistic practitioner. We'll find out what that is. She's a certified intrinsic coach and a certified health education specialist. She's on the phone to talk to us about her book, The Power of EQ, Stronger Leadership Through Emotional Intelligence. Karen Nutter. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Larry. Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Jacksonville, Florida.
So if I have a high EQ, if I'm very emotionally intelligent, am I cool and collected? I mean, does nothing fluster me?
I wouldn't say nothing flusters you, but when you do get flustered, you know how to regulate it. You know how to apply certain life skills that you've learned or that you've acquired over the years to control your impulses and reactions to things.
Oh, and can that be learned, or is that something we're born with?
Partially something we're born with, but yes, we do learn it. And the good thing about EQ, which is emotional intelligence, is that with EQ, it can be learned. IQ rarely increases over our lifetime.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay, so let me give you an example. I can remember driving down the road, and I was thinking to myself about the bills. I was so frustrated about this is years ago, and it was just I was at my wit's end. I didn't know what was going to happen. All of a sudden, a car came into my path, and I had to swerve. I went off the road. Thank goodness I didn't have an accident. But all of a sudden, those money worries weren't a big deal. And I thought, wow, that just put things into perspective. So my emotional intelligence, I guess, was raised a little bit just with that one experience. And it taught me, although it's a hard lesson to continue. I mean, you keep going back to sometimes old habits, but it made me realize, gosh, don't be so worried about stupid things like money. Those things will work themselves out. The other things, sometimes you can't do anything when somebody dies or you have a tragedy.
That's right. And basically, we have no control over very much in this world except our attitude. And, by definition, Larry, EQ is the ability to sense, understand, and effectively apply the acumen of emotions and how to facilitate collaboration and productivity. So during that instance, you were able to assess that situation and go, these bills are not that important. My life is so much more important.
Yeah.
So you had self-awareness and regulation.
So, but it's learnable. I would think, this conversation may change my mind, but I would think that it's learned by life experiences. And I'm having a hard time understanding how it can be learned from a teacher. Even a guru, even sitting across from, Gandhi or something like that, yes. or Jesus. I think you would still have a hard time, but you still have to go through life lessons.
Well, certainly you have to go through life's lessons because we only learn through pain. But when people, for example, take my EQ assessment, it becomes clear to them what's really going on inside, how they assess themselves, and then how they interact with others. Sometimes they're not real aware of that. And so by looking at these types of assessments, that awareness can help them want to change because it lists solutions on the assessment.
Okay. And is there a way to actually assess somebody's emotional intelligence and be accurate with it? Because I would imagine I wouldn't be honest. And here's why I say that. If you were to ask me right now, what would I do if somebody came in here with a gun and was threatening everybody? I would tell you what I think I would do. Chances are what I would actually do is something different. I don't know, but I'm just guessing that in times of stress, we probably act differently than we say we would act.
And that's very true. That's an extreme stress situation. And the assessment certainly doesn't propose extreme stress situations because that's the fight or flight, and you're right, we don't know what we're going to do. But in everyday relations with others and how we handle ourselves, the assessment easily can determine how you're going to react based on your answers to the question.
And people do like to feel like they are in control. If they have a relationship waning, or if they're on drugs or something like that, they like to feel that they'll be able to handle it without someone else's help. How do you get them to open up?
Wow. Well, okay. Hi, Robin. With that said, you certainly have to back up a few steps and not even worry about the emotional intelligence. Just go back to the root and say, how is this potentially affecting your life? So if someone's sitting in front of me and their supervisor has sent them to me because they're acting out, and their supervisor's unaware of their potential drug use, but I can quickly assess that, I usually say to them, I put the pad down and I say, what do you think is the real reason for these outbursts? Or what do you think is the real reason for you being tardy? And oftentimes they may not say it directly, but they'll skirt around the issue, and they'll open up the door for me to ask other questions that are possibly related to the drug issue.
So do those around us, you said the IQ can't be improved, but the EQ can. So real quickly, I guess I'll use this as an example. An organization is probably if you could measure the intelligence of an organization, it's probably higher than any of the individuals in it, simply because everybody contributes something. Is the same thing true for the emotional intelligence?
Yes, and there's actually a thing called diversity of EQ, meaning you kind of want to have, if you have a team of 6 people or 5 people, the leader will want to have each person diverse in a skill set as well as a mindset of EQ. So you wouldn't want everybody who's fiery and volatile. You would want others who are more calming. If you have that one person who's so highly productive, but yet they're kind of fiery, you would want to kind of just stick to that one person on the team who's fiery.
Yeah.
How do you help the person that wants to do it all themselves in the workplace and they have a hard time delegating because maybe they have fear that if they let go of something, they might lose their job?
Well, usually what happens with that one is on the assessment, it shows up that their self-awareness is usually not real high because they're not even aware that we'll call it hoarding, that they're hoarding all the work.
Oh.
The Power of EQ is the title of the book. Karen, we'll be right back in just a bit. Karen Nutter is our guest. She's the author of the book, The Power of EQ. And we'll get to the actual substance of the book when we come back. This is WOCA.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Some sunshine today with a thunderstorm around this afternoon, high 87 to 91. Clear to partly cloudy tonight. There can be a shower or thunderstorm along the coast early on, though 72 to 76. For tomorrow, sunshine mixing with clouds, an afternoon thunderstorm around, high 88 to 92. And for Wednesday, times of clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm, high 88 to 92. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Are you wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars on termite retreat fees? If you're not with Turner Pest Control, you probably are. Turner Pest Control offers the industry's only termite and pest control package that never charges retreat fees, ever. You can get started today for only $99. This is a value of $500 or more. This includes treatments, installation of monitoring stations, quarterly pest control, and a lifetime guarantee, all for an unbelievable low $99. Even if you have another pest control provider, visit turnerpest.com to find out how you can avoid paying those high termite retreat fees.
Ooh, ouch. Does pain have you glued to the couch? Yes, unfortunately it's true that every year we must get older, but that doesn't mean we have to deal with pain in our back, knees, or shoulder. If your muscles and joints are sore, don't worry anymore. Come get acupuncture from me and you'll be pain-free. Acupuncture starts as low as $35 at a Better You Healthcare. Call me, Dr. Erica Olstein, at 615-5566. Stop your pain from driving you insane.
Central Florida Eye Institute is the area's leader in laser vision correction. From high-definition refraction surgery and LASIK vision correction to custom cataract, glaucoma, and diabetic treatment, you can count on Dr. Crowley and his effective, friendly staff to provide you with the quality care you deserve. Call 352-237-8400 for an appointment or more information. That number again is 352-237-8400. Looking forward to service your vision needs.
Hi, this is Brad. I want to take a moment to talk about a serious issue. In the next 5 years, the aviation industry is projected to have a shortage of commercial pilots. Now is the time to start training. Ocala Flying Club has started a scholarship for the youth of Marion County ages 17 to 24. The club will donate up to $4,000 towards a pilot's license. This will help get the student on their way to obtaining their commercial pilot license. If this sounds like something you would be interested in, or if you know someone that would be, please contact Ocala Aviation Services, 861-7484.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
Visit the WOCA website at www.woca.com.
The most trusted name in news, Fox News, every half hour, only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
All right, 12 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. This is a fascinating topic, actually. During the break, I was thinking of people that I've known in my past, and in the workplace, I guess mostly, who seem to become unraveled quicker, easier than others, and some people are just so cool. And I know we've had some people that we've all worked with who have had alcohol or drug issues, or perhaps emotional problems. I remember a guy who came into work one day and he was just like totally different. Mm-hmm. And of course this was a temporary thing, but his dog had died, and we can all relate to what that's like. Sure. Karen D. Nutter is on the phone, and she's got a lot of credentials, so it's an honor to have her on. The book is called The Power of EQ, Stronger Leadership Through Emotional Intelligence. Karen, so in your line of work, do you have, it sounds like what you were saying during the first part of this interview, that employers will literally send you the employees who need to have something done. What do you do, and how do you know what to do?
Well, there's a number of things we can do. We usually meet for the first time and determine, what's going on or what they perceive is going on. And I've, of course, already talked to the supervisor to find out their perception. But that's what's so wonderful about EQ is there's 5 components. There's the own person's self-awareness, self-regulation, and motivation, which are the intrapersonal, INTRA. And then the other 2 components of EQ are the interpersonal, which is you and others, which is empathy and social skills. So by doing an assessment like that, you find out what's going on with somebody internally, but also how they're handling their interactions with others, because it can be totally different.
So do you help an employer find a person who might actually be good in the same skills you're good at to, I guess, be a buffer? Do you know, the other day I was near a big fish tank. And there was some like really soothing music happening. I know this is a crazy thing to tell you, but I was thinking to myself, gosh, this is what I should have in my house, because if I had a big fish tank with this soothing music all the time, anytime something is frustrating me or flustering me, I'll just walk over here, look at the fish, listen to the music, and the whole world will be fine. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
And that was you, Larry. That was you exhibiting self-awareness. You were aware that if you had a calming environment, you would feel more centered. And those are some of the things we look at in people who are possibly low in self-awareness. What are some tools you can use throughout the day to bring you back to center?
Is it possible for people to keep something inside all the time, and then that's doing more damage than to speak with someone like you?
Of course. I currently working with a corporate client in the state of Florida, and she took my full assessment, which includes a lot of other things, not just EQ, and we met, and I turned the assessment over and I said, let's just chat first. And she said, okay. And she proceeded to unload things that she had thought about, experienced, and lived through for 40 years.
Oh, wow.
And just by her doing that, and then, of course, for the next several hours, we went through the assessment. And when I left, I said, what was helpful for you today? And she goes, I could not pick one thing, but I will tell you this, I feel free. And I have not felt free my whole life.
So is forgiveness part of it, or maybe self-forgiveness?
Yes, because the self-awareness of possibly things that happened in her past or things that were going on at work, her awareness of how she was acting in those situations, which is her regulation, helped her go, oh, I don't need to get so upset about that. It's personal, you know. They may be having a bad day when they show up late. Maybe their dog died, like your friend, Larry. Or
right.
Maybe something happened over the weekend that upset her. So instead of the supervisor taking it personally, expressing empathy towards the employee and just going up and saying, you're not normally tardy. Is there something going on? Helps tremendous.
So I'm guessing that the media, and probably unintentionally, but the media makes us think there are quick fixes. You'll see advertisements for pills, or you'll see a movie and you know they all get together for a cup of coffee at the local cafe and somehow everything's fine. But that seems a little bit too simplistic, and while it's unintentional, it probably makes us think everybody else has it a lot easier than us, because all they need to do is go to a coffee shop and they're fine.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or look on Facebook and they see everybody looking happy. Mm-hmm. Because nobody posts pictures of themselves with angst. They post pictures of themselves looking happy.
That's a good point.
What you are really doing, in essence, is you're helping each individual come up with the answers on their own. Because as a parent, when my children were growing up, they would have problems and I'd figure them out and I'd get the answers for them, and that would be fine. But when you're an adult and you're taking on all that responsibility yourself, you have to come up with your own answers. Nobody is going to tell you what to do, and that is really something great, because you're giving a person self-worth and self-esteem.
That's correct, Robin. What I do with my clients is, you know, they may say to me, I need to do this, and I'll say, well, that's fine, but do you want to do that? Because if they don't want to, the need is not even that important, because it's truly what we want. It's more intrinsic than a need, because really the only thing we need to do is eat, sleep, and maybe pay our taxes. But
right,
we don't even need
maybe
to do that. we can even skip that part.
There you go.
Yeah, but then you
let your heirs take care of it.
You might have a very stressful situation in behind bars or something.
Right.
Oh, you know what's interesting for me? When I go get my tires changed, or sitting in the waiting room at the mechanics shop, mm-hmm. there's nothing to do. All you can do is sit there, and it's like, wow, because I'm so driven to be, accomplishing things, I guess, mm-hmm. that I feel like I have to be doing something all the time, or I feel guilty. But in that circumstance, when you're waiting for the car to be fixed, it's like, well, I got nothing to do and I have no choice.
Yes.
It's kind of a relaxing time for me. Tell Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. During that moment, we can totally relax and do nothing, which is wonderful in this day and age. Do nothing for 5 minutes.
One time, Robin and I were riding bicycles, and we stopped on the side of the bicycle path, and it was a beautiful day, and it was a green, hilly place that we sat on the grass. And I said to Robin, you know, I could be the richest man in the world, or I could be the poorest man in the world, and this moment wouldn't be any different. And it was this realization that whatever money worries we have are really, it's a frugal thought. It's not an important thought, you know.
Yeah.
Really, unless you have to pay the rent, then.
Yeah.
Tell me about the book. Does the book help me with myself? Does the book help me with others, or both?
The book helps with both, and you know, it talks about leadership, but leadership comes in many forms. You know, it comes in the small mom and pop store, but it also comes in corporations. But thirdly, it comes in our everyday life. You know, if you think about a social group you're in, there's a leader of that group. There's always somebody who implements the plan, what we're going to do, where we're going to meet. There's always somebody who's kind of the leader. And maybe you have a leader who makes the plan, and then you have a leader who coordinates the food. They're a leader. And a woman I know read the book, and she's retired. She was never a leader, she says, in her occupation. And yet, she came to me and she said, that was the best book I've ever read. I can apply it to every aspect of my life. I can apply it with my fishing buddies. I can apply it to my relationship with my husband. And I can apply it to my relationship with my children and my grandchildren.
This is some lady. She's got fishing buddies. I like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I know. But that was my intent with the book, is to have it be a business book, but yet the person who picks it up, that's maybe the spouse of the business person, gets a lot out of it as well.
I can really see the value of what you're talking about, and yet it's something I've really never thought about as far as something that can be tweaked. Usually somebody's emotional or they're not. You know, they're cool and collected or they're not, and to think that you could actually have some control over it, maybe not complete control, but some control. How do we get the book?
Well, the way you can get the book is it's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Books A Million, but it's on 200 other sites. So I would hate to say this, but if someone says I can't get the book, I'd say, really?
And do you have a website for yourself, Karen?
I do. It's coachingbykarennutter.com.
And are you... Oh, go ahead.
KarenNutter.
coachingbykarennutter.com.
And you are really amazing too, because you had become ill at one time that you had to work through things, and that really put you in a bad situation, but then you worked through it and now you're able to help others.
Yes, and that's actually what started this whole journey for me, was becoming ill. I had to develop some self-awareness that I did not have. I was working 50-plus hours a week in a sales career. I was number 2 in the country, wanted to be number 1, working out like crazy every day, being a room mom for my son's school, you know, overdoing. And I got set back and sidelined for about 2.5 years in bed. And I had to develop some self-awareness, like, oh, wow, in between appointments when I get that migraine, if I had stopped to have lunch, maybe I wouldn't have gotten that migraine. Or maybe if I was stressed and overdone, maybe I should have gone home instead of doing 3 more sales calls. I needed some self-awareness.
Another
so
example
I'm an example of how it can be learned.
Another example of why we need lunch and why we need to go home early. Yeah.
Exactly. You're amazing.
Karen, thank you for being on there. That was a great interview, very insightful. The Power of EQ. Go to Karen's website, coachingbykarennutter.com. Robin makes it easy. The website is already on the WOCA website, right on the guest list page. Karen, thank you for being on the air with us today.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill.